Hello, everyone. I'm one of your hosts, Nick, the Duke of Hobbies, joined by always by Jake Panux Abrams for Triple P's Around the Board, the player debate show where the tough questions are asked and the responses are judged. For 2 10-minute rounds, players respond to specific questions. They will get points awarded or removed by your hosts. Players can also be muted to give other players a chance to respond. There will be one bonus round question between the rounds for additional points. Winning player will get a 1-minute free rant period to talk about whatever they want. With the rules established, let's meet today's players and go around the board. And today, joining us locally is Bryan Desmond.
Hey, how's it going?
Also from the Pittsburgh area is Steve, also known as StevetheGOOD.
Hey, what's up?
And we got joining us today for a second time also, Steve, this was your second time, but Kevin Mellow Magikarp.
What up?
And also joining for her first time on the Around the Board, but not the first time with Triple P, is Megumi, also known as GoomyGumi.
Hello, everyone.
All right. Thank you all again for joining us today. But let's get right into this. Jake, you're taking round one today with a really heater of a question.
So we took this inspiration from our podcast, Basic 4 Questions. I think it's always the kind of the funnest one. So let's just get right into it. So what card in Standard makes the meta the most unhealthy? Now, this could be a card that is kind of sprinkled to any deck, or it could be a card, that makes a specific archetype just kind of a little too dominant. So with that said, let's start with ladies first, and let's go with Gumi.
Okay, so I've got a professor's background. This is a kind of a thinker question for sure. So as a professor, we're always thinking, does this card bring balance? And if it doesn't, is it ban worthy? And really what makes a card ban worthy is, does it break the game? And honestly, I really couldn't think of anything in particular that would really break the game. Of course, for myself, Zacian V comes to mind, being able to accelerate the hand a little bit, as well as powering itself up. However, I really don't think it breaks the game. So I think personally, and this might be quite the wild card for this question, is my best girl, Marnie. When you play it, it might help you, it might hurt you, and the same can go for your opponent as well. So long as one of the two players has another card in hand, you're good to go, but it might just be a downhill battle from there.
After Bryan.
I was thinking, it's funny you were talking about Zacian, and that's an interesting because without Zacian, I don't think ADP is really good because that's the main attacker. But I was going to lean on ADP just because I think it's been such a dominating presence for so long. And I just hear people complaining about having to play it online constantly. My buddies, he goes online and rages because he's always running ADP. And I've done it myself. I've just auto quit because I see ADP come up because it's I don't even want to spend the time. So I don't hate the card so much because I used to play it a lot, but I think it's definitely just such a big presence that I'm just going to be happy when it's gone.
For sure. How about yourself, Kevin? What do you think?
So far, everyone's been really close to being right. It's been super wrong. It is easily Zacian V, I think. The card is just ridiculously overpowered to the point where it makes every other V just completely obsolete. It hits harder than all of them. It does it with acceleration from Metal Saucer. So it just makes every other V card completely bad. It has Intrepid Sword, which is the most disgusting thing because no deck, sometimes you just say pass, right? These decks get to say, I'm going to draw 3 cards and maybe accelerate energy. These Zacian decks are the killer of single prizers. Yes, it's ADP, but Luke Metal is highly underrated for the killer of single prize decks as well. How many times is my Spiritomb deck or going into the Baby Whimsicott or something like that, and you hit Luke Metal or you hit ADP, and you're just oh, I lose. It's not the tag team. The tag team helps, but the Zacian in there is also just high HP, hits really hard, accelerates to itself. I think that card is absolutely disgusting and terrible for the meta.
And Steve, how about yourself?
I gotta agree with Megumi. I think it is definitely Marnie because we had previously, before the Sword and Shield block came out, we did have a format where you could play supporters turn 1, and that was fair, right? I mean, going first was always good, but that's just the way Pokemon's played. With Marnie, they had to change the first turn supporter rule to where you can't play it first turn, and causing players that basically go first a disadvantage. And now, yeah, there's some decks that might want to do it, but I think that Marnie is causing a lot of problems in the game for that reason.
No, I agree. Okay,
so wait, real quick. Moving forward, then, what would you do? Like, what is the problem? Again, more. Can you elaborate on that a little bit more? The problem of Marnie.
Okay, so basically saying that my opponent that has to go first, like gets to go first, can't play any draw support unless they somehow manage to either start with the Dene in their hand, and hopefully you don't start it, because if you do, then you have to hope you have another basic, or you have to have one of your 4 quick balls. Or, I mean, I guess some decks play Cherish Ball if you play tag teams.
Or
like, you gotta have like
V.
those. Yeah, like
Mhm.
you gotta have one of those specific cards to have a shot to set up going first. And then if you don't, your opponent then just instantly can play Marnie in their turn. You get 4 cards, and your game's just gone at that point. I mean, I played in the format, and I'm sure some of these people, Megumi and Kevin, played when Let Loose Marshadow was a card, and that card was just insane. Like, Marnie does the exact same thing.
Yeah. So, do you think that these cards that you've all selected will be just as big of an issue going forward after rotation? Do you think they're still going to impact? So I'll throw it out to anybody. What?
Other than Bryan, he picked
Yeah,
ADP there.
ADP, yeah.
Other than Bryan, yeah. I'll throw it to anybody whoever wants.
But
to.
I can comment on the other people. Like, so I didn't even like really think of Marnie. I just like, it annoys me, I guess, when I get Marnied, but I never thought of it as in a negative way, I guess, because there's so much other ways of cycling through your deck that I just kind of just roll with it. So I think obviously Marnie's going to be around for a very, very long time. So I guess if you consider it a problem, it's going to keep being a problem, but that's just not one that I'm like too concerned about going forward.
Yeah, fair points. Actually, Kevin, I want to actually ask you, because you picked Zacian. Do you think Zacian will still be that busted after rotation?
Zacian, it's the only non-VMAX that I think you're going to be able to play for a while. Like, there's no other option. The VMAXs, sure, they can power creep it. The Zacians, you literally look at every other 2 prizes and you're like, I can just play Zacian, and it's just better. So yes, I think it's still a problem, even if it's not meta-defined.
Do you think we're going to see more just straight like Zacian decks after rotation? Like, I guess Turbo Zacian maybe can do a little better. I don't know.
I think a Zacian Zamazenta deck can definitely be really good, especially if people don't play Phoebe. Because, I mean, just the combination's disgusting, because every V Pokemon is worse than Zacian. But you have to use them in order to KO the Zamazenta. And so it's just like, it's this terrible like roulette that you have to do.
Yeah, for sure. So, Gumi, how about yourself? Do you think Marnie will still be just as big of an issue after?
As far as where she is standing as an issue, I think so, especially since, she's continuously present. She's getting a new special set coming out about August 8th, I think, her collector set. And really, like, Zacian gets debuffed a little bit with losing ADP post-rotation. So with that aspect in the question of current and post-rotation, I think Marnie is still pretty there, whereas Zacian does kind of take a little bit of a step back.
Agree. Steve?
Yeah, I think Zacian, like, will become more, like, the card's still good, right? The card will be good. The ability is good. I think with addition to Path of the Peak, potentially just shutting down the card, you can't use the abilities anymore. And then also with it losing the ability to, take 3 prizes on the Pokemons that it can knock out in one hit. I think that the card it will still be played as like an accelerator whenever you get the chance, but I don't see it being a heavy presence, after rotation.
No, all fair points. Okay, so you guys said some pretty big ones out there. I do want to get your take, though, because myself and Nick kind of have other answers too. They kind of hurt. I want to hear your
30-second warning.
Yeah, well, let's talk about hammers. Let's talk about hammers. Whoever wants to jump it out. How big of an impact is hammers now in the future?
I think right now we're standing okay, especially since we don't have something like enhanced hammer where it's a guaranteed. So relying on that 50-50, and not too many decks have the ability to pull out, item cards from the discard. Really, you're counting on the 4 or less for most decks. And still with that 50-50 coin flip again, I think we're okay.
Yeah, I've had this conversation with you, Jay. We've talked about hammers a lot, and I think you've kind of explained to me about how it's really necessary to slow down a lot of decks. And I think that's definitely more positive than negative. Like, it sucks when you get hammered, but I think I'd rather have it here than not be here.
All good points there. Kevin, how about you? What are your thoughts?
It's fine. A good player who plays a deck that quote unquote loses to hammers can play around it, and you can just play a deck that doesn't care about hammers, and you're fine. So it's counterable. It's not great, but it's not bad.
Yeah, Steve.
Yeah, I think it just, as people are saying, it just sucks to get hammered because it's a coin flip. But once again, enhanced hammer. I played when that was around, and that was probably the most annoying card ever because billowing can at least puts it on the bottom of the deck, but I was even playing the 2013 game, and my opponent, I was playing Team Plasma, my opponent was playing Darkrai, getting enhanced hammer, it sucks. Crushing hammer is definitely not that big of an issue. It's the only way, it's only prevalent because Pikarom needs it to stay relevant, and Pikarom is one of the most popular decks, and
yeah.
He's attacking your boy, Jake. He's attacking your boy.
It's true. It's true.
I'd like to see a tool or something that maybe blocks hammers or just some more tech.
Like a Greedent V,
a Greedent.
We're seeing Greedent coming.
Okay, real quick. I know
30 seconds. 30 seconds.
Just boss issue for the game. Yes, no, everybody. We'll start with
No. No, I was around when GoomyGumi was here. It is not.
Okay, Kevin, Steve, your boss?
No, as long as Lily's Pokédoll exists. Yes, when Lily's Pokédoll rotates.
I think I'm going to say no. I think Gust is good for the game.
Yeah, Gust is fun. I like Gust.
Mm-hmm. I'm happy you all agree with me.
Jake's just happy because he knows how much I hate hammers. Or hates bosses. All right. So that is the end of the round. It's a tight one. It's a tight race. Right now, Bryan, you are sitting at 8 points. Kevin, you got 9. Megumi, you got 10. And Steve, you're in the lead with 12. It's actually, this is really good. Okay, so I think everyone I brought up some really interesting points with the Zacian and the Marnie. I personally didn't know about Marnie, first of all, but you're all wrong about bosses. And
nope.
No, I thought that hammers discussion was really good because, everyone said, I think the important factor is that it just feels terrible. But in the truth, that 50-50, that's a risk that the player who's putting those cards in is taking. And since it's not a guarantee and there's no real way to reflip that, that is way better than enhanced hammers. I tried playing expanded and I hated that card so much. But no, awesome. I really enjoyed that discussion. So with that first round out of the way, we're going to go right into our bonus round, and this is a fun one. So, I'm going to say this and then we'll go to a quick break. Which legendary Pokemon can lay eggs? And which Pokemon is born from that egg? So yes, it is a two-parter. And so you got take your time, think through this one. This is a difficult one, and no Googling. But we'll be right back. Hey everyone, it's Duke of Hobbies here with a quick couple announcements. So we wanted to thank Megumi and Mellow Magikarp for coming on to today's episode. So shout outs to them. Bringing from Megumi's side of things is the Goomy Cup. Also, this month's theme is Spooky Cup. Check out all the information for that at OregonPokemon.com. The Spooky Cup, you're limited to Fire, Dark, or Psychic Pokemon only, and no multi-prizers. So, really kind of neat thing is happening at the end of the month. From Mellow Magikarp, we need to thank you again. And Lake of Rage is his podcast, so please check that out, and his YouTube channel too. So. Thank you both for joining us. But a quick shout out from Triple P is we are announcing the third Triple P Saturday Select happening June 12th this month with 100 plus packs being given away to the participants and winners. So stay tuned for that. We also got a hold of a ton of other fun special packs and stuff. So if you're looking for fun giveaways during the tournament, check us out on Twitch on that day. It starts at 6 p.m. June 12th, the Triple P Saturday Select. Now back to the episode. All right, welcome back, everyone. So again, our bonus round question for today on Around the Board is which legendary Pokemon can lay eggs and which Pokemon is born from the egg? All right, so we're gonna jump because she says she knows it. I want to hear her first answer here. Is Megumi? Who is it?
So the pressure's on, but I love Pokemon lore. So I'm going to have to go with Manaphy, as it is the Prince of the Sea and Hatch is a Fiona. I've also been around Pokemon for a while, and I was definitely at the fun Pokemon event and playing Pokemon Rangers that gifted you Manaphy eggs that hatched Fionas.
Ooh, okay. All right, let's go to Steve this time.
Well, now that she mentions it, I know she's 100% correct on that.
Yeah, why did you go to the person you said knew it?
Because like Fiona is the only baby Pokemon, like baby legendary Pokemon that we have, and Manaphy is obviously the Pokemon it evolves from. So that is the correct answer. But my initial guess was, doesn't Fiona evolve into Manaphy?
They're separate. They're separate.
Okay, completely separate.
No
since you negative points. My initial guess was going to be Shaman, though, was the Pokemon that hatches it, and I have Arceus lays the egg. I don't know. Arceus is the god Pokemon; it lays eggs.
Yeah.
All right. Well, then let's go into you, Kevin.
Yeah, it's Manaphy and Fiona.
Okay, and Bryan.
Yeah, I skipped a lot of those middle generations in the games wise, but obviously Mew lays an egg and then Mewtwo came out of that egg. Where else would Mewtwo have came from?
Hold up. Trying to learn some lore.
She has issues.
Jake knows I love lore.
For sure.
All right, well,
he's like, here's the layup, and then Dan's like, whoop.
Mew didn't hatch lay the Mewtwo egg. That is definitely man-made.
That is a clone for Mew, because the correct answer is Manaphy and Fiona. Yeah, I thought that was a fun one. Jake's like, you're not going to get past Megumi on this one. I was like, yeah, I know.
Why did you ask her first?
Well, I wanted to see if it would psych out anyone else, but it shocked everyone else's memories too. So
I mean, I knew it beforehand too. It's
yeah. I think all I'm gonna do is take a couple points off from Bryan because he said Mew.
Hey, I was in that movie theater as a little boy.
Gotta get those collectible cards.
That's right. All right.
Ancient Mew, and then get if you're lucky, get that sealed legendary bird trio. I still have one of those sealed.
Do not have that one.
Flexing over there.
Dragonite something.
All right, so
yeah, with the print.
Yeah.
Let's get ready for round 2 here. I'll be taking this one over. So the question for round 2 is how will Rayquaza, yes, we're talking about Rayquaza V and Vmax, that has just been announced in Evolution Skies, a dragon-type Pokemon. And how will Rayquaza change the layout of the meta? So we're going to start off this round. We'll go with Kevin. Please start us off.
Of course. I probably have the hottest take on this. I think Rayquaza's not good at all. It's like a mediocre deck. It's not so to one-hit KO anything, you need 4 energies plus the other type of energy. You're not going to set up 4 electrics ever. You're not going to rose to it. Everyone's always like, oh, but I'm just going to go rose. Then I'm going to use the ability to draw 3 cards. A, you're not going to rose. You never rose. Rose is a terrible card. B, you're going to draw 3 cards. That's also not good. Plus, you have to play a deck that has multiple energies. Plus, you have to play plenty of switching cards. Plus, you have to set up all these stupid flaffies that you're not actually going to set up because you have to play level ball that doesn't find your main attacker in order to find the flaffies. And so I just think it's going to be Clunk City. It's going to be fine. Don't quote me on it's going to be trash. Sure, it'll be a tier 2, tier 3 deck at best. I think Flaffy's going to have better partners. I'm going to call Coco Vmax right now as the partner for Flaffy. But I don't think Rayquaza is the answer. I don't think it's going to be that good.
Always on the Coco train there.
Let's jump to Steve here because I know he has some opinions about this one.
Well, I think the card in and of itself is innately very, very good. We've seen this card before as Rayquaza EX, as a lot of older players know. Rayquaza EX, when that was card in a format, it was insanely good. Being able to one-shot anything you had to have 4 energies to do it with back then, which now you have to have the 5, but I think, Pokemon having 330 plus HP or, 300 plus HP nothing's two-shotting or nothing's one-shotting it back except for itself. So worst case scenario, you're two-shotting things like you are with everything else. Best case scenario, you're taking the one-shots, and you don't have to necessarily take the one-shot every single time. You just have to do it one of the times, right? There's no other VMAX that's good right now that can one-shot it back. I mean, I guess technically, Drag or Eternatus could with like double zig, like bunch of Zigzagoon, but you got to play scoop up nets, and that makes the deck even worse. I think the card's really good. It's going to be good.
Bryan, how about you?
Yeah, I'm kind of like, I think it's going to be good. Like, obviously, I don't think it's going to be super crazy, but I think I like that it doesn't have any weakness. It lets you just kind of comfortably play into anything. So I think a lot of people who decide to build this deck won't have to worry about a lot of frustrations like that. Maybe I'm overthinking it too much, but I'm kind of wanting to try to pair that up with like Blaziken Vmax or something, and then you can attack the people while charging up your energy, and then you have Rayquazas build up to kind of finish people off that don't have any weakness, so they're not going to be getting one-hitted by anything. So I don't know. We'll see what kind of decks people come up with.
Megumi, I see you nodding your head. Is that an agreement or disagreement?
I think Bryan's on the right track. So I was really looking at this Rayquaza card because it does say to discard either fire or lightning energies.
Mm-hmm.
And so looking at right before rotation happens, so like 3 weeks after Evolving Skies come out, and then before September 10th comes to hit us, I really want to see this duke it out against Luke Metal. Now, the big reason being is that we've got the card Crystal Cave coming out. So once per turn, a trainer may heal up to 30 hit points from their steel or metal type Pokemon, or steel or metal type steel or dragon types. Not only that, though, is that Luke Metal has the fun ability of teaming up with Bronzong and Cheryl. So removing all those energies if it needs to, well, not Luke Metal specifically, but if you pair it up with like Corviknight, Vmax, and then Cheryl. So you move all the energies around, heal with Cheryl, throw those energies right back on there. So going head to head and having access also with Rayquaza fire types. You've got Fire Crystal, you've got Welder, you also have Heatran to back it up, turn 1, if you can get it, 3 energies just like that. And if you want to cross it over a little bit with the Tapu Koko, go for it. You also have access to Electrode, though it does self-destruct and give the opponent 1 prize card. I think there are some fun little techniques we can see with Rayquaza VMAX and V. However, I really don't think it'll be instant best deck.
All right. So you brought up an interesting point with post-rotation. We're at our halfway point in this round. So how about you follow up, like post-rotation, do you see this being best deck or how will it impact the meta there?
Well, impacting meta, we're losing most, if not all of our acceleration as far as fire types go. So we're losing again that Welder, Giant Her, Fire Crystals, and as far as really other acceleration goes, we are losing, unfortunately, that beautiful Prison Star Tapu Koko that I love so much. I played many decks. So I'm there with Kevin. I mean, we always say that post rotation, the game slows down a little bit. However, I think having access to being able to foresee the future a little bit and see what to expect in the set list, we've got a lot of creative trainers out there doing their homework and seeing how to keep it alive. I think Rayquaza might slow down just a smidgen, but really not that much.
All right. How about you, Bryan, though? You talked about you don't like the Prism Star Tapu Koko, but how do you see this impacting post-rotation Rayquaza?
Well, like I said, I know everyone was talking about that Flappy, and I guess that works. But I'm hoping to maybe get a little more Rapid Strike Pokemon mixing up. So maybe, depending on what they build, other decks will be able to put some counters into that. Like if they're playing Blaziken, then some water decks will be better against it and stuff. There's that new stadium comes out that lets you search for energy for it. So there's going to be different support coming in, but I don't think it's definitely going to be the best deck. I guess it's just going to be a close tie with a lot of these VMAX decks. But yeah, I don't see it really pushing things.
Go ahead,
hard.
Steve. Go ahead.
I think the one thing that's going to hold this deck back is the loss of Unbroken Bond's Mew. Rapid Strike Urshifu will then just be able to double hit Electrikes. But then again, if my opponent is double hitting Electrike, or I guess Flappies, I'm sorry. I played 2013. It was
we know what you meant. We know what you meant.
So yeah, I think that could slow it down. But then again, I've always had the philosophy of if you're hitting my support Pokemon and not necessarily taking out the main threat, like go ahead. Like I'm just fine you doing that. Like I will still use Rayquaza and two-shot you at the absolute worst case scenario.
Kevin, I see you rocking in your seat. What are you thinking here? What do you think of post rotation?
Everyone's just like saying a lot of things, and I think it's like those are gonna work. But why are you doing so much when I can just go Victini, attach, pass, attach, two-shot everything? I don't have to evolve anything. I don't have to pull off any convoluted combos. It's just attach, pass, attach, attack.
Yeah, and
Victini, same thing.
And Victini's not hurt post rotation really, with only needing 2 fire energies. And
yeah, I've been playing Victini currently, and like that's definitely not going to be like scared of Rayquaza. You'll hopefully be killing its V's maybe before he even evolves. So
yeah, and the electric version, I think, like the more it gets talked about, the more it's just like, why aren't you just playing Single Strike? Single Strike is OHKOing for the same amount of work.
Well,
but you're not playing so
none of you guys mentioned Bolt on V. Like that
Best boy.
Yeah, best boy. He could accelerate. And you can get reasonably, you can get 4 lightning energies on him.
Giving
on
Jake negative points.
I think that's a fair argument, because if you get enough energies out, you're not having to be worried about Rayquaza sitting there. Best boy can just sit there and just strike away with extra energies from the bench to power it up.
Yeah, and also it's searchable with the new stadium. It's a lightning type Pokemon, right? The new stadium does dragon or electric type Pokemon, so it's a way to do that. I think Bolton would be like a fine kind of the way it does now. Like it sits there and it can charge it up, and it then just takes 1-hit knockouts. Or worst case scenario.
But then if Bolton's sitting there, then that's a free Victini kill. So I mean,
right.
Yeah, and Steve also mentioned earlier, pass to the peak. Like if a Rayquaza Vmax player really needs to draw cards, that just shuts it down.
I keep forgetting about that card. Yeah,
it's a beautiful card. I love to see
I like it. Our plan is just changes.
Oh yeah.
Bolton also, like if I just go turn 2 Brave Blade your Bolton, you can't KO me with your Rayquaza, because you can only hit for, assuming you could find your fire energy, which you're probably not going to be able to find, because it just sounds clunky. Why are you playing 2 types of energy?
All right, real quick, last 30 seconds here. If you're playing Rayquaza, what do you go, first or second on your turn? Just, this is high level thinking here.
Fire type second. Fire type second. I guess a lightning first, perhaps.
Okay. How about you, Kevin?
Let's say second. Second's always correct.
Brian?
I was going to say second too, just so maybe you can get some acceleration going.
All right, and Steve?
Unfortunately, it's probably got to be second. The first turn supporter rule is what hinders it from wanting to go first.
Dang, Marnie.
Which stuff you need to get your turn 1 to make it good.
Yeah, it's only going to be solid turn 1. If you go first for the first 3 weeks, we still, again, have that Tapu Koko with the Dedenne pair up. Toss those energies, pull them back out, and that's it. That's really all you can do first turn.
All right. Awesome. Great points by everyone there. I'm just finalizing some of the final points made. Well, all right. Well, we got oddly enough, we have a tie in our points here.
Do the other bonus question.
All right, I'll follow it up with a bonus question here. But no, let's follow up this because I think everyone, one of the biggest factors I saw with an issue with this deck is, especially post rotation, because it's only going to be around for 2 weeks, is that Victini V. And I think it was Brian, you brought it up first. That was a great point, because again, like the fact that you can attack it, I'm in the boat with you, Kevin, that I see it being okay, not great. But those were so good conversations, and I know Zach or Steve. I don't know why I keep calling you Zach today. I've done it all day today. But Steve, you've experienced this deck. That's why it's interesting, because like you said, you see that meme going around. What's the difference between this one, the Electros, and the old Rayquaza, and the Flaffy, and this one now, which is it's like there is no difference. And it obviously was very powerful back then, and we know that dragon type having no weakness is very impactful. So great conversation with everyone, but we came down to the end there, and based on how things went, Kevin and Megumi, you are tied right now. So this is going to be we're going to do a quick bonus question there just to decide who's the winner for it. And the question is, there's an item, this is in the remakes of Ruby and Sapphire and Emerald. Rayquaza is actually holding on to an item. What item is that? So, it's an interesting thing. So this is that remake of the games there. No Googling. And since Megumi, you got the bonus question, you both actually got it right this past time. But we'll start with you when you think about it. So, do you have an idea?
The only idea I have would be the Mega Stone. I feel like that's not quite right.
All right. Well, Kevin, how about you?
Let's say Dragon Talon.
Megumi, you got it right again. That was it. I was like, who would know that? Man, you're on fire tonight with those bonus questions.
I love my lore. I love my Pokemon facts.
The fun thing I saw in it was that apparently most people click past that. It says that he has it in the story because most people aren't actually reading it. They're speed playing the game. So a lot of players were like, "Where's that Mega Stone for Rayquaza?" Well, he has it. So awesome! Congrats on winning today. You're gonna get a 1-minute rant to talk about whatever you want, and that is going to start now.
Hi everyone, I run once a month tournaments, so I'm GoomyGumi, so we run Gumi Cup tournaments over with my Oregon Pokemon Discord. Invites are located everywhere, but you can always go to OregonPokemon.com. Our tournaments are held once a month at the end of the month, and they are free to play. Every player gets a digital booster pack, and this month's format, because we keep it fun every month, focusing on deck building with Spoopy Cup. So all of your Pokemon may only be Psychic, Dark, or Fighting, just to give it a rock, paper, scissors tournament style. And for full rulings on that, you can head on over again to OregonPokemon.com for a link to our Discord. And first place prizing is still under wraps, but it's always a physical prize that we mail off to the winner. And since you've won the tournament, don't worry about shipping costs. We'll take care of that for you. But we'll love to have you.
15 seconds left.
This is a lot of fun, and I can't wait to see what else this group really throws out for us. I look forward to more adventures with everyone. You can also check me out on Twitch, GoomyGumi.
Awesome. Great. I was really hoping to join your last tournament, so I was glad Jake was able to get into it. But thank you everyone again for joining us today. For watching us today, and thank you to today's contestants. We got Bryan, StevetheGOOD, Kevin, Mellow Magikarp, and today's winner, GoomyGumi herself. And if you enjoyed this, we'll be back in 2 weeks, I don't know, in a little bit of time, with different players, more burning questions, and another time to go around the board. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up and take a look at another one of our videos here. Also, if you haven't done so yet, hit subscribe. It goes a long way in helping us grow. Remember, we release a podcast episode once a week on all the major platforms. We also stream every Friday on Twitch and make a Whimsy Watch monthly report.